Good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning. I'm not quite sure where we are today at this point. I'm Jonathan Feldman. Welcome to the Music Academy Concert Hall Online. Today, we're going to be giving a master class for my collaborative piano department, and I have invited the wonderful pianist Emanuel Ax to join us and share his information and give some comments to some of our students in some recorded pieces that they have offered. So would you please welcome Emanuel Ax?
Hi. Hi, nice to see Johnny, and I guess I haven't seen anybody else, but that's fine. Uh,
Well, you're going to have to look at me, Manny. I guess that's it. You poor
that's
man.
fine. Very attractive view, so it's
Oh.
fine.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm thrilled that you're here.
Sure.
Of course, everybody knows who you are, but you're here in the capacity of,
You just told them who I am. Of course they know.
yes, that's right. But your solo piano playing is incredible and par excellence. No one can touch it. It's just beautiful. And that's not why you're here tonight. You are here as a collaborative player because you have done a lot of collaborative work. You, well, we go back many years. We knew each other from Juilliard when we were students there. You were a
Yes.
student of
Yes.
Mr. Muntz and me of Mr. Freundlich.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we share a bit of history because both of us at one time, me earlier because I'm older and you a little later, both accompanied Nathan Milstein for a while.
that's right.
That was was actually my first paying job. Uh,
Really.
I was 23 or 24,
Mhm.
and Mr. Milstein had a regular pianist, George Plutermacher, wonderful French pianist, who wanted a year off. He wanted to do conducting. He had an orchestra. And so they were looking, and one of my summer teachers, Arthur Balsam, recommended me, and I auditioned for Milstein, and he let me work with him for about a year. And you had, of course, the same experience. You had a year, a couple of years with him, right?
I had several. I had 3 years with him, and I also had to take the audition. What was your audition like, Manny?
I had well, he said to bring three different sonatas, two Beethovens and one Brahms. So I practiced those pieces, and he didn't say much. He just said, okay, let's do it. Let's go to Jacksonville, Florida. I said, okay, fine. So
Right.
anyway,
Well,
yeah.
I was told that he wanted to do the C Minor Beethoven. Was that
Uh,
one he had done with you a lot?
no, I never played that with him. I
Oh,
played I played the Spring and the Kreutzer,
uh,
the Brahms D minor, the Schumann A minor,
right.
and some short pieces that he played. Not a lot. He actually played only for encores.
Yeah.
Mostly the programs that I was involved in were kind of big pieces, or well, certainly big piano pieces.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't know the C minor Beethoven, and I was told about it 3 days before.
It's
So
so hard. It's so hard.
I had to learn it very quickly,
Yeah, it's
and the same reaction for me. He said, "Oh, okay, I'll let you know." He
yeah.
didn't actually say, "Can you play Jacksonville?" Uh,
Yeah.
he was listening to somebody else also, and he turned out
Ah,
he wanted me to play with him and asked me to come back. So
yeah.
that was how it worked for me. Yes, that was a challenge working for him. No,
Yeah, he was, well, he, of course, the violin playing was unmatched.
yeah,
Whoever played more wonderfully than him. But he was not an easy man.
no,
He,
he wasn't. But I
he
learned a great deal from him.
oh
Oh my
yes,
God.
oh yes. It's still one of the great experiences of my life.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
me too. I agree. Isn't that great that we share that? Love it. Um, so, did you do a lot of chamber music when you were a student at school, or
I actually,
elaborate?
I did. I started at Juilliard as a prep school student. I mean, I was there when I was 13, I think, and I was very, very lucky in that Felix Galimir, a name that you know, of course. I don't know if any of the kids do, but he was a great, great violinist and founder of the Galimir Quartet, who actually premiered the Berg Lyric Suite
Mm,
and Bartok Sixth Quartet,
mm,
that group.
mm.
So he was a great friend of the Sirkins. He was one of the original Marlborough people. So he was teaching some kids in the prep. And I was very lucky because he couldn't find anybody to play for me. So I played with him
Oh, wow.
because he couldn't find anybody to do it. So he said, okay, so I'll play. And then I studied with him for years until I was 25. You know, I always had chamber music with him.
That's great. What a great experience that must have been. He
Very
was
special.
wonderful. Um, so how did your connection with yo-yo start?
We met at the Juilliard cafeteria. I think I was at the time, I was the studio pianist for Leonard Rose, and you know, playing for the lessons.
Right.
Because as we all know, that's how you could make a little money. Yeah,
That's right.
to get paid by the hour.
What was it, about $3 an hour at that point?
At that time, it was 250, and then went up to $3 an hour.
250.
But
I started at 3. So you're older,
those,
so you started
in
sooner.
those days, that was actual money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was different. You could go to Carnegie Hall and hear Rubinstein in the balcony for $2.50.
Mhm.
So it was money, you know. It was, and so I met Yo-Yo at Juilliard. I think he was only 15. He's about 4 years younger than I am,
Right.
and we became good friends. And from that, I guess he, of course, was already very well known and playing a lot of concerts. And I started playing a bit, and we wound up with the same management. And we thought, why don't we try doing it together? And there weren't very many uh, people who were doing solo playing and also doing duo things. That was not so common in those days, and the management was not entirely happy. They were a little reluctant, but then it worked out. It all went well. So we've
Certainly
been
did.
playing together for, we added it up, 47 years.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's unbelievable. It's like an old marriage, you know, but, and we're still doing it. It's crazy.
Well, and you're doing it beautifully. The two of you are amazing, and you now have a new guy on the block in the trio, right?
Yes, Leonidas Kavakos, who's
Bartos.
an incredible guy. He's, you know, I played a little bit with him at a festival, and I suggested to Yo-Yo, because we hadn't done very much since Mr. Stern. We
Yeah.
hadn't really played with anyone, and I said we should try to play a little bit with him. And they, in about 5 minutes, they fell in love. It was like you know, just like that. So
That's great. I just want to give our audience a little heads up. Normally, these master classes, of course, are with partners, and we're sort of in a funny place right now where we can't really have our partners. So both Margaret McDonald and Natasha Kislenko and I, my colleagues on the faculty here, decided that it would probably be better to invite special guests and let them just talk about their lives as collaborative pianists and get some information going. And also, I was able to secure some recordings from some of the players in the department,
yeah,
but it's stuff that they have done outside of my domain, shall I say. Well, why don't we go on to some Brahms then, the D
sure,
minor, okay?
sure.
The young,
First movement, right?
so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
which for me, I find the most difficult, but that's me.
You mean in that movement or that piece?
In that piece, that movement is the
Oh,
harder of the four for me. It's
yeah.
so it's
For me, it's one of the four hardest, I would say,
of the piece.
of the piece. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
um,
I do. I'm always. I have to admit, I'm always terrified of the last movement. I think it's so difficult. but
oh my
but
God.
yeah, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's hard to. But yeah,
There's a quality issue and there's a
yeah.
color and
Sure, sure,
okay.
sure.
We'll hear Jae Eun Park, who
Hmm.
is a student of mine or was. She just graduated this year
Oh, right,
virtually
right.
at Juilliard.
Uh-huh.
And the wonderful thing about, well, I'm not going to say that what we're in at this point is wonderful because it's clearly not. Um, the fact is that all of the fellows who auditioned and are not there
Yeah.
have been invited back for next summer. So,
Not.
Jane, tell us about this performance.
Oh yeah, this was from
Who is
one
she?
of the Sonata Abend last October at Juilliard.
Mhm.
This was with one of the sophomore at Juilliard, sophomore students. And we've been playing together for like 2 years. So
Okay.
yeah, we have, I think, great collaboration together. We've
Good.
been saying that. So I
Yes,
think I don't
and
know, I
his
hope
name,
we
of
ended.
course, his name, of course, is Adrian Steele,
Yeah.
and he's a wonderful player, and I'm excited for Mr. Ax to hear you play. So, Casey,
Right.
now we're ready.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's very beautiful. Um, so I have some opinions on this movement, which maybe I could talk about a little bit. I don't know how much they would be directed just to you and probably to your partner as well. I guess it's hard to separate, right, Johnny? It's not simple. But look, this movement in particular, it for me it really expresses the essence of Brahms. The point is that for me, the essence of Brahms is that he's like Sisyphus. He's like the guy that's always pushing the rock up the mountain. That's what the myth of Sisyphus is. He's condemned to push a rock up a very steep mountain. And when he gets to the top, the rock goes all the way back down and he has to start over again for eternity. That's his curse. He did something probably not so nice. I wish I knew what it was, but that's his curse. Anyway, that's what he does. And I always feel with Brahms, there's that element of it, you know, that he always wants to get to the top and almost never does. Maybe the end of the first symphony, you know, maybe the end of the G minor piano quartet, but because of the gypsy thing. But basically, he always pushes up the mountain and then rolls back down. I mean, a perfect example for us pianists, the D minor piano concerto. Ba 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 be ba 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 be da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Not so fast, Joe. You know, we got to this big D major. It's back down. And this piece, I feel, really, you know, does that. And I think we have to try in those things in the second theme, because there is a payoff. The very last time when the second theme comes and the violin plays he finally gets to that F up on top. And there's not one of those things. It just goes all the way. So you finally get, yes, I'm going to do this, except there's a whole page of coming back down. But, you know, it's like, I think we need to think about that build up to that. And that kind of epitomizes for me the entire movement. So even when you do because the coda of the first of the exposition is going to be so all of that comes from all these things I think are related, and they all, at least to me, they so that's when you finally get that F, that final payoff from the violin, that should be such an explosion as compared to everything else that happened, that direction. I don't know if you agree with me, Johnny, but I feel really you know, for me, that's a very crucial thing.
That's helpful to me. Thank you very much.
And then, of course, he doesn't end it there. Of course, we're gonna get very depressed again. And I do think there is a meno mosso, or there is a tranquillo that I don't think happened with Jae Eun. I think we need that at the when we get the D's as compared to the A's before. I think that's a slower tempo, or it should be, maybe. I think, and then we get those. It would be fabulous if she could bring out in the left hand those painful intervals when you get da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da, A, B flat, E flat, F sharp, G, C sharp. You know where I mean? Da da da. Dee, da, 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 dee, da, 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 dee. You know, so if there's some way, there's a recording, very old recording, Milstein Horowitz. That spot, if you could just listen, I mean, it's all fabulous, but I think no one has done those bass notes the way Horowitz does. It's not to believe. You should just imitate that as much as you can. You know, that's what I tried to do all my life.